fact, that is literally what they are designed to do, almost programmed to do, as Hackers kind of sat back, put his hands behind his head, leaned back in his chair and said, I'll let the boys go to work. He got them into the position for the final circle, and then he watched his dogs bark.
It's so fun to watch them play. There's such a clear dynamic on how they interact with each other, almost naturally, in some of those fighting positions they find themselves in. But speaking of positions, this is the POI draft here, and as you can see where your favorite team will be dropping here on iiTzTimmy, which historically is a map, I would say, which is less prioritized when it comes to POI draft, just because a lot of them are a little bit more balanced, a little bit bigger. The map in itself is a lot bigger than what we have in the maps that are in the ALGS circuit at the moment, so you're usually going to be good for some loot, and you're usually going to be pretty good on your rotates as well. Yeah,
I think that some people would have prioritized it just because it's played 3 times, and they were like, well, no one else has picked anything here, like Unlimit, for example, going for Lotus. So they were saying, yeah, we're more than happy to have it. Maybe we will find a good amount of points from it, but you are completely right. It's not going to be as advantageous as maybe some of the other maps that you might be going for. As we take a look over at iiTzTimmy, very sad news, of course, recently he announcing his retirement.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll see about that.
The amount of times we've seen Apex players retire and then come back, but
I'm just saying, if they win this event, you've got to defend your title.
He can't retire if they win.
You've got to defend your title.
I agree with you. I think
he was hinting at it, because when Lace interviewed him on the walk-in, he said, you know, my favorite event was Japan. I'm just saying, champs in Japan, if they win it here, I'm sure everyone at home is with me with this. Dan, you're smiling as well.
Of course. I would love to see him not retire.
I love spreading rumors. Especially when there's no base whatsoever behind them. Well, here we go then. We're into match number 3, everybody. iiTzTimmy is where we find ourselves.
But will we see those teams that have prioritized the POI draft for these 3 matches in a row? Can they actually get some points? Can they reap those rewards that they set? Or are we going to see Alliance dominate yet again? Already 39.
You spent too much time with Blaze.
39 points already
on the board.
Yeah, 39 points already, an incredible amount. Remember, the points total is going to be important here, because when we think about POI draft going into the finals, at the moment, 117 is the total. And I'm sure there are some fans of other games that will be happy about that total, but that is what's going to be set from yesterday. If you can beat that and win your group, you would then get #1 in the POI draft.
When we get a little bit of ring console information, we're going to know where this zone is going to be going. Maybe up towards a little bit of Galleria, maybe a little bit of Alliance. Potentially. Heights is an option as well. You can see that zone just pulling off the edge of the map as well. So when we do get that information, it's going to give us a little bit of a clearer picture. Good luck reading it off the first zone, because that looked pretty tough to read.
Very tough to read off the first, but yeah, you saw it correctly. It is going to be moving onto that eastern side, and that's what I was mentioning about Heights as well. When Virtus.pro, they selected it, they are hoping for one of those zones to come their way, because they should be a surefire team to get to one of those final circles if it does pull all the way over. But of course, you are hoping and you are praying. Now, we are seeing a few teams starting to move quite early. 100 Thieves, for example, are moving pretty fast. Gaming Gladiators have got all the information they wanted as well, both from the ring console and the survey beacon, thanks to Watson and Sparrow.
So going to have an Evo cache pretty close to them, so we had to pick that one up. The little harvester will be on blue, I believe, very, very soon. So
let's check out that way.
GG have had a bit of an up and down, I would say. Not only Pro League, but qualification process. A lot of hype, understandably, when Funk came over. Second place back in Sapporo. Almost won the whole thing alongside Slayer and Sweet on that Luminosity Gaming roster. But moves over to EMEA. Joins this roster who, of course, dropped Lufka as well, who really did make a name for himself as one of the best Newcastle players in the world on this lineup. A huge amount of success back in Germany, which feels like some time ago now. And of course, things have changed, but still an opportunity for them to show that it was the right move and that they're going to be able to perform here in Riyadh.
This is going to get interesting on the north here. 100 Thieves have decided to try and push underneath Virtus.pro, but Alliance are going to be in the same area as well. And I think they're all going to be okay with the positions they've taken. And really, all of them are just going to separate, take buildings, but they're all playing the similar area here, the kind of northeast area up towards Heights. So great news for Virtus.pro that everyone else kind of thinks, yes, this is going towards Heights as well.
Something to highlight as well, just when we're talking about compositions and legends, you're going to see a lot of Watson in this game, but probably not much after this game, as we do a little bit of quick maths to confirm if that is going to be the next legend that is going to be banned. But Watson here on iiTzTimmy, probably, I would say, Not just one of the strongest characters, full stop, at the moment, as we actually see an EMP going in. It looks like Alliance want to have a little peek at 100 Thieves.
I said it was going to be interesting. I thought they'd be happy with the buildings they had, but Alliance clearly want to take 100 Thieves out of this spot. Well, they did.
Well, Alliance just pressurizing at the moment. You can see 100 Thieves, 2 white armors as well, so they've made a quick rotate. Hackis, as you say, lets the dogs off the lead. Trying to push in here. Purple Bolt, double Mozams. And the Accelerator, an effect full of confidence. It's usually a recipe for success in this circumstance, though. 100 Thieves do manage to hold.
Great hold.
As scary as that was for them.
Really impressive hold, especially for Phony, who was in the corner. You are so vulnerable there if they are able to peek, but 100 Thieves made sure they had those angles to reduce the opposition angle so they couldn't get in and peek easily. And even though Effect did get aggressive, it's because he knew he had the backup of going through that portal if things went wrong. So Alliance will back out. They won't take that fight, but they really wanted to take advantage of their armor situation.
Yeah, I think they also want to take advantage of the fact that they have a huge amount of points on the board already, right? So you're more than willing to take a little bit more of a risk in an early game situation, knowing that you've already got some points in the bank.
Team Liquid have just taken down one member of Unlimit. Looks like they want to try and follow up with even more, as Unlimit look like they might be falling out of the lobby first here, or at least 2 of them will, but there might be a follow-up and maybe a third party, but it looks like it's going to be trying to escape here.
And then Nurkic just trying to slide away here, trying to escape, and Team Liquid are going to have to forget about that kill and try and stay alive, because look who is arriving. It's going to be Evo's here. The EMEA powerhouse, who have really impressed, some of the newest names that we have seen in the EMEA region really coming to the fore, and certainly a player to keep an eye on that team is going to be Nate, and he's the one who gets the knock onto Jaguares as well. MG Clutch, big rank grinder, now jumps into the competitive scene, and the young man looking for his first kill as well.
Looking to get aggressive just to make sure they finish that one off to take these all down. But still, 20 squads still remain, so the stragglers are able to escape, and maybe they'll be able to get back up to a full 3 a little bit later on. But these are a lot of fights that are happening on the north, and I don't think it's over yet, because Shopify Rebellion, now hearing this commotion, they're having a look.
Yeah, Evo's nice and healthy, though. MG Clutch is backing down, and I think they're just trying to create a little bit of space between themselves and Shopify Rebellion here, so that Shopify have to think twice about crossing towards them. I think Shopify probably thought, their third-party opportunity isn't as juicy as we originally thought. NRG, though, just had Timmy knocked.
I do wonder how Shopify Rebellion are going to play over there as well, because Liquid and Unlimit are both going to be playing a similar area on the north, but now JD Gaming are going to get aggressive here.
Oh, they are indeed. Sykes is going to have his shields ripped apart. He stays on his feet for now, but he's going to be absolutely swarmed, and Sykes trying to do what he can to stay alive. Maybe just trying to buy a little bit of time here for Gil to get out, but now a third party arrives, or at least some shots from distance do. It's going to be RRX and Razy who's going to be that player, as NRG won't be able to escape, and NRG will be eliminated.
First team to go down. And that one's going to sting, because you just have to wait that extra time watching and waiting for match number 4. Now, you saw the shots coming through, and that's because this area now is so swarmed with teams and people. Everyone has made their way over towards Heights, and it is going to continue to pull that way a little bit further northeast. So a correct read from the likes of Alliance and 100 Thieves, but I wouldn't expect anything otherwise from 2 of the best IGLs around.
Crazy Raccoon on the southern side of the zone at the moment, just trying to creep their way in. They've got JD Gaming in front of them, and they have to work their way towards where this next zone's going to be going, but they will be safe. They don't have to do too much for now. Shopify Rebellion up on Height. You can see them right now. A little bit of a slow start for them, even though game number 2 was much improved. And they're kind of between 2 members of Team Liquid who have split at the moment, trying to think about getting up to a full complement of 3 again.
They have just got ring console information as well, have Shopify Rebellion, so that was kind of why they were playing out here. They realized they had the entirety of the north, apart from the solo stragglers they maybe had seen going for the res, but Unlimit have gone back up to a full 3. As you said, Liquid just a 2, so clearly something went wrong. Maybe actually Shopify Rebellion found one of them.
Yeah, I think they might have hit the server beacon as well, which is going to give them that information. 2 members of Shopify Rebellion moving towards Electro Dam, where they might realize there's 1 solo. And 1 player from Shopify Rebellion just clearing their backs and thinking, hey, we've got enough space between us now and that second player from Team Liquid to probably just try and collapse onto the 2 players who are being respawned. So Shopify might have read this really, really cleverly.
Yeah, Shopify being very aggressive onto some of these teams that are struggling a little bit. As we can look back at how JDG took down NRG, you can see why they were being aggressive as well. They saw there was a little bit of vulnerability there, and they made sure they capitalized on some kills that were presented to them. There was a lot of teams in the area that kind of helped out with a little bit of damage here or there.
The CR back on this southern side have worked their way past JD Gaming and are now controlling this little choke. Elsewhere, Team Liquid, who we mentioned, a split on the map. Well, they might be about to be down to 2 players once again, because Neazul is caught between 3 members of Unlimit here. They're going to be very easily able to deal with him, and he will have to go back to the respawn screen and probably watch from the lobby, because I'm not sure they're going to be able to get that banner.
Yeah, there is a crafter next to Galleria, but outside, I mean, maybe you can get the back in, but it's just so difficult at this stage of the game because there's going to be so many teams coming through. And especially Shopify Rebellion, they're going to be on the hunt, remember, because I feel like that's part of their game plan here, is to try and find some extra kills on Edge for teams that are trying to respawn and get back into the game, because they're going to be naturally quite weak. But one of those teams hovering around Galleria is going to be Evo's as well. Remember earlier, we saw them join in on that fight that forced the likes of Liquid and Unlimit out.
Well, Liquid have found another crafter, by the way, on their way through Energy Bank, so they might be able to get back up to 3, but they have Unlimit on their backs, who are going to be hunting them down, and if a respawn goes down, you imagine they will push that very, very quickly. Back towards center zone, though, and S8UL are in a great spot underneath here. Newcastle wall down, Gen down, intercepts and pylon, and some nice, beautiful buzzing fences. We're in a pretty good spot. Very difficult to push that one.
Yeah, they'll be fine for quite some time. Instead, it's those who are forcing their way into the ring at the moment that are really struggling. VK Gaming should be somewhat comfortable here as well. They have a portal to play with just to try and reposition and find another safe haven. But there is a little bit of conflict happening on the western side. Shopify Rebellion and Evo's currently are facing up against one another.
Team Liquid. Still 2 players alive. I think they haven't tried to stick the reses yet because they saw that Unlimit were wrapping behind them and knew that they were probably going to suffer the same fate should they have gone for that res immediately. So Liquid are wrapping all the way now through Energy Bank down to the southern side. Unlimit probably still looking for them because they did see 1 player. But with a minute left on the clock, they're going to have to start thinking about getting in towards this zone as opposed to hunting down Team Liquid.
Yeah, Evos have just retreated away from Shopify Rebellion as well, as Team Liquid will get the respawn onto Neazul, which might draw some attention away, but Evos are running at Unlimit.
Certainly are indeed. Stingerball goes down as well to try and force them away from that position. Fusel isn't great though.
It was bad.
And Unlimit now find themselves in a position where they've managed to essentially stall out this fight to the point where they're healthy enough to at least fight back. But that spray from MG Clutch from the high ground off the back of the EMP, and he goes to work. Unlimit eliminated, and Evos pick up more KP.
And I think Evos have just given Team Liquid a chance to get back into the game as well, because otherwise I think Unlimit would have been hunting down Liquid. They were tracking them for quite some time, and now Liquid back up to 3. And actually, a couple of members from Liquid are having a little peek over towards this to see if there's any stragglers, but I think they'll soon realize they need to focus on getting into the zone. Shopify Rebellion have done exactly that. They've moved from the northwest, and they have traversed into the zone, so it's only going to be Evos and Liquid outside of the circle right now.
This is interesting now, because Liquid are ahead about what's just happened, right? Evos have just used so many ultimates. We saw MG Clutch popping a couple of ult cells to try and get his ultimate back, but they expended everything in that fight. And if Liquid have got a couple of ults available and they don't, Liquid could hold them out in this situation. Twisted Minds, though, inside the zone, trying to hold out the likes of Go Next and potentially Team Liquid in a few moments' time. Elsewhere, you can see the SBI having a little bit of a struggle with Zainu, has managed to take down 2 for SR.
Yeah, Shopify Rebellion just forced their way into zone and bullied SBI out of the building. Like, genuinely said, here's the eviction notice, get out, this is ours now. This Alliance were also unlucky, were sent out just to do a little bit of a scouting mission. Took a lot of damage, so they'll go back to the position they took right at the start of the game. But it is not going to be safe after this zone. It is going to transition a little bit further south, but still going towards the east, and then south again, which actually is going away from Heights, which is going to be great news for the likes of S8UL, who we checked in with earlier. They are pretty much bang center of the zone.
Yeah, bang center zone in a really easily defendable spot as well. You saw they had cover from everywhere. Only 2 areas that they could be attacked from, and they've got the Newcastle wall, they've got the Watson. It's so difficult to siege that particular area they're playing. Speaking of sieges, it's going to be Go Next versus Twisted Minds. And inside this building, we are seeing an exchange of fire as enemy will pick up the first knock onto Kinda.
Yeah, Twisted Minds have the advantage here, but as we've already seen, a 2 versus 3 is still very winnable. As long as you play it correctly and you play it together, there is going to be a crack on both sides, but Twisted Minds still going for aggression here.
They certainly are indeed. Abralele, though, is down to 1 HP. Annam He's the last one alive, can't get it done, and we go next to are eliminated. Everybody from Twisted Mind stays on their feet in that fight as well, which means they should be able to reset pretty comfortably.
There's 17 teams left, and here is one of them. It's going to be Team Liquid. They hear what's happening, they get involved, but enemy's taking Yanya down.
Yanya gets absolutely destroyed, but it will be Twisted Minds who unfortunately cannot hold off the follow-up barrage that comes from Jaguares and Neazul. For a second there, that looked a bit shaky, but I think just the armor disadvantage and the HPs not being reset the way the Twisted Minds would have wanted to, just let Liquid get away with that one.
Team Liquid finding the red helmet was absolutely huge for that fight as well. Gave them so much confidence to be able to push in. And I think it was just the amount of damage they were able to do and the lack of healing that was able to have been done previously as well. They were pretty weak going into that fight against Liquid, but Liquid have to move fast because the zone is coming in, and this kill feed is going to light up a little bit because there are about 8 teams who are not within this next zone.
Yeah, all of them at the moment are on that northern side. And Alliance are one of those teams. Let's jump into the comms with Alliance.
Johnny close. We'll get close. Yeah, right. Come on, she's on red. Right above. Okay. On here. I'm dead. Oh, wrong. You knocked? Yeah, I'm dead. He dropped down by there. I'm trying to put him alive. Yeah, I'm dead. I'm dead. Got him. Get shot in back. You good? Getting hit. Rave still looking. Lucas rising below you. Go. No, nice shot.
No, guys, we gotta listen to the. We need to gender. As soon as you need, just gen.
Not the greatest of moments there for Alliance. Certainly not what we saw for them in the previous game, but hey, you can't get it right every single time. A tough rotate for them from that northern side.
We just saw about 4 teams drop as well. 100 Thieves being one of those. So winners from match 1 and from match 2, both taken out in a very similar time. And now Virtus.pro get to play peekaboo from above. And Evos get eliminated, so that's going to be extra kills across the board. It was actually VKG, I think, finished off those kills in the end, but it is going to give away their position to Virtus.pro. Now remember, Virtus.pro dropped over towards Heights, but now they have to start making their own rotation and try and find their way south.
Yeah, a little bit of space on that northern side, but for not long are they going to be able to sit there. Shopify Rebellion now pushing onto that position. We talked about that fortified spot that S8UL have held down for quite some time. The sprays and the suppression is starting to hurt S8UL here, but they're holding on for now. But now the swing's going to come in, and this is why Zainu is such a special talent. Picks his moment perfectly. S8UL are evicted.
That red armor getting past to Shopify Rebellion after I assume they took down Team Liquid whilst we were amidst the Alliance POV just earlier. RRX will go down as well, so now it's just 9 squads remaining, and there's a few teams trying to make their way to center zone at the moment. Actually, 3 teams just took a portal at the same time. VKG, Fusion, and Crazy Raccoon all in that center zone.
VP trying to kind of tiptoe their way forward. They're pointed to the edge of this zone, but as you can see in the top left, they now have 45 seconds to decide what that next move is going to be. But this is how busy the center of where this game will be ending is. The shops are full, and VKG have set up a little food stand of their own just on the outside.
So many fences as well, and that is not all of Fusion's fences, by the way. There are fences from every single team in this area, all combined, and it looks like they've set up a fort to share, really, at this point. These 3 teams will not be worrying about one another right now. It will be focusing outward. It will be stopping teams from being able to push in.
Look at the lack of attachments here for Fusion as well, so they've done a really good job. You imagine 2 players have been rezzed in the game to get into that position. On the northern side though, GG, JD and VP all have to move very soon, and VK are holding them out now relentlessly. Shots coming in from the 30-30 to try and pick up KP. VP cannot make it in. They will be the next team to go.
Yeah, that's a shame from a zone that was really handy and close to them, but you can see VK just trying to get eyes on these teams that are pushing in.
Fences.
There is so many points available here.
The fences are just stopping them moving anywhere. GG can't make it forward. They will be eliminated next as we go down to 7. Fusion now trying to make their move. Trying to see if there's an opportunity for some KP, but having recognized the reset to come in, they now retreat back to their little hidey hut.
Worth noting, Fusion and VKG are running the Newcastle. Could be very important here in this final circle as rival esports go down. But we do have 4 crypto still alive as well. Might be able to deal with some of these fences that are being a nuisance.
One thing that's really interesting to highlight here for everybody, on the eastern side of the zone, ROC control all of it. Shopify Rebellion on the western side of the zone control all of it. JD Gaming on the north, all that space, but in the center, these three teams we're focusing on are so shoulder to shoulder that it's allowing those three other teams on the perimeter to have so much freedom.
And look where the zone is finishing. It is finishing bang center, closest to VK, Fusion, and Crazy Raccoon. But of course, they all do have to slightly move out. But they do not have to be the first to move. They can wait and force the likes of SR, JD, or ROC to actually make the move first.
Shopify Rebellion having to make their move forward now. They're trying to fence across and almost trap Fusion into this position. As ROC start to step forward a little bit themselves, and they're going to have a lovely little wall to play here. That fence line is going to be so good for them, as also Deeds making his teammates extremely happy by getting a little pick there with that 30-30 as well. And Vaxilon delivering a little present, though he's not going to be well received by VKG.
This first EMP is going to be a very impactful one as well, but every team is trying to save it right now. They don't want to pop it too early. They want it to help them in the fight they're eventually going to have, not just to destroy some equipment.
ROC have most space in this zone. JD did manage to move down from the north side. They're still alive. Nobody has fallen in the last 30 to 40 seconds as the zone starts to singe, starts to burn, and starts to chop away at the heels of all these teams.
And here comes the EMPs, perhaps, unless the drone got destroyed, which it may have. Here comes the second one as an attempt, though, as everyone now starting to pop up. Goodbye, Watson Fences.
And now you're going to see the likes of Fuse become very, very influential in these fights. Shopify Rebellion now, it's MT on his own, 5 HP or so. They are eliminated. ROC and Vaxilon with the clutch.
May have time to get the res here, though, because everyone else, no, he won't. It's a big send, and it's an important send as well to shut down ROC.
Yeah, Crazy Raccoon swing out of this busy hut-based area and claim the space for themselves. Fusion now up onto the top, onto the tiles, up onto their tippy toes on this hut. January firing blind, but can't connect. Fusion eliminated as VK will hold, and most importantly, all three stay up.
Yeah, Crazy Raccoon now going to have that southern side. They have the wall to work with here, but they don't want to push up too quickly. They want the other teams to fight first.
Crazy Raccoon firing through the fences, hoping that they're not going to be stunned for long enough to get some shots down, but it's VK Gaming, and it goes to a 1v1. It's St. Jude with the opportunity to swing, with the opportunity to clutch, but they cannot do it, and VK Gaming will win your match number 3.
VK Gaming did so well to dominate space very early on. As soon as they got that portal in, they Watsoned up. They Newcastle walled instantly to make sure they created as much space as possible, but they kept their backs to a wall. They didn't take any silly fights. They didn't take any risks to begin with, but it was also them who were fencing up after that initial EMP. They made sure they were going to make life a living hell for any team that wanted to arrive.
We have seen some end games already. We're 3 matches in. We've seen a 1v2, or should I say a 2v3. We'll give Lucky a little bit of credit in that one. It wasn't all effect. And then we've just seen a straight 1v1, a throwback 1v1, playing around the knockdown shields as the zone evaporates in front of us. As VK Gaming will clutch 11 KP alongside the 12 placement points. That's 23 points on the board for them.
Yeah, that is a brilliant game and really gives them that opportunity to put themselves in a conversation of getting to those match point finals. I mean, only after 3, sure, it's not a guarantee by all means, but at least you are up there and you know you are hanging with the biggest and best teams. Because remember, top 7 qualify for match point finals. The rest, they go to a last chance qualifier, except the bottom 3 who get eliminated today.
And here's some of the stats you can see. One thing that's going to be a very nice feeling is, remember that VK Gaming were on the receiving end of what happened in that previous game. In that final moment, the effect play that we did see. This time they clutch it. This time they make it work. So a second followed by a first here for VK Gaming. A fantastic little run that they're on.
And if you are tired of Watson Fences after that game, because there was a lot of them, we won't be seeing any more for the rest of this series, unless there's a reset. But Watson will be banned from this one. And it means going into match 4, you're going to have to find someone else to hit those ring consoles for you. Alliance, though, will still be number 1 on 40 points, but VK Gaming are catching them up 38 as 100 Thieves, who went down pretty early on 33.
Yeah, very close between everyone. Nobody kind of getting away with it at the moment. Nobody getting ahead in the score. Kind of noticeably, it's been an exchange of wins. 3 different winners across 3 different games. And I got to say, that was a very, very enjoyable endgame there. The way that just the geometry set up when you had that small kind of collection of huts and shops in the middle, and then the perimeter, which was just covered by those walls. Fantastic to watch here, and we have to expect more fantastic action here in Riyadh in very, very soon. We'll see you in a few moments. We'll be back.
Championships are not given, they are earned. This moment, you cannot let it slip by. It's moments like this that you spend years waiting for, sometimes lifetimes. This moment does not go unnoticed. This is something special.
That feeling of winning is no better feeling in the world.
It just feels unreal. It's just a great feeling that I will never forget.
World Cup continues here in Riyadh. A little shot of the boulevard. If you're here on site, that's where you walk in, and to your right is where the arena is, where these players are playing. A little bit of the center of the park there with the waterfall, and of course, that big EWC trophy. Who will win it? Who will help their team or their organization be a part of that club championship win? You could be seeing it right here. Some big names with some big performances on the boulevard as we welcome you back into the studio. My name is Rain Day, alongside your talented analyst crew, Jayhan, Snipe Down, and Glitter Explosion, here to break down the action after 3. And guys, we saw some incredible action, Jay. That was pretty much every storyline we could have wanted in 3 games, all wrapped up in one.
Yeah, and I don't mean to call you out here, but you didn't have VK Gaming as one of the favorites.
Dark horse.
You had him a little bit lower, but VK Gaming up second, then at first back-to-back.
It looks like that is very much indeed the case. Not only Catalyst, 12 of them, alongside 12 Cryptos as well. So it's going to be a tie for the most picked legend here, which means it will go to that tiebreaker. So we won't know who's going to be banned until we see who wins and what their composition is.
Let's see if APAC North can keep this momentum going. Let's see if we can see a little bit of APAC South coming into the fore as well. Let's see who, region-wise, starts to dominate as we get through these games here. We'll start off with VK Gaming, who have been very, very impressive in that previous game. Let's see Caustic pretty early in the composition here for them.
Well, I mean, if you look at how VKG just played that previous game, I think Caustic actually makes sense with what they want to try and do, what they want to try and achieve. It's not a like-for-like trade between Watson and Caustic, but they both do very similar things. I mean, obviously the ring consoles, but just being able to play defensively, place things to stop people pushing you alongside the Newcastle, I think this could really work out with VKG's style of play here.
Well, it's going to be a good zone for GG, who historically have been very good at playing zone when they get zone, but looking across at their composition, when we're looking at ring console characters, they're going to have to use the Catalyst to hit that. They do have a ring console, so they don't have to get up to blues. They can hit that one straight away, and that's going to mean that they're going to have great prio to this zone down.
Yeah, they're going to be able to move fast, which is going to be important, and also Sparrow might be able to hit a survey beacon from distance. There is one over down towards City Hall, so depending on your lineups, you might be able to get that one just for some extra evo and for some extra information. I was going to say, is there another one by GG? Do they have another ring console next to them? Either way, they're going to have a lot of opportunity to get some Evo here.
Yeah, I think they'd love to get up to blue if they can, but with so many teams arriving, I think one thing they are going to struggle to get is the Evo Harvester that spawns a little bit too far away for them to extend to before the likes of Twisted Minds and Co start to arrive. They're over at Galleria right now, but Fusion are already inside of the POI. Alliance are already where this end zone's going, and Rival Esports have just arrived, having left City Hall as well, so nobody hanging about here. Everybody wants to get down and busy where this end game's going to be taking place.
And Alliance have shown me there is a survey beacon right above them, so Game Gladiators would have been able to hit that one. They would have been well aware of Alliance arriving, because they could have hit it with the Sparrow Dart, and now it just means both of these teams can reside where they are.
Well, GG have played for the best position. They've not had the opportunity to get the Evos they would have wanted to, even though with Funk and Co only 76 Evo away, they should be able to get up to blue pretty comfortably, especially playing a priority position like they do have now. So blues won't be too far away, but it's always a worry, isn't it? Someone early on just sees an opportunity, gets a little bit of pop damage and thinks, hey, you're on whites. We could push this and take this spot away. You've got to make sure that damage goes out nice and quickly. Otherwise, you are very vulnerable to being that team that gets pushed early.
I mean, especially when we saw what Shopify Rebellion did in the previous game, where they were just kind of waiting, playing edge. They were trying to be a nuisance to those teams that were trying to res late on, but then they bullied their way into zone. They were just going from building to building, sending eviction notices, because by the time they arrived, they were up onto purples. They then were able to get reds off of other people as well, and they just had such an armor advantage. So you do have to try and build up those armors as best as possible. That's why you need to do things like this. When you're light, you need to step out and you need to try and actually get some damage down.
Only 60 away. It's only a couple of bullets here. One headshot to do that. With the 30-30 repeater. NRG, a little bit more southern. And they're chasing down SBI Esports at the moment over at draft point. They're going to be ahead of them. And Timmy, I think we've had a lot of stories with almost, it feels like early conclusions to highlight so far. We've had the 100 Thieves story, of course, which we've talked to death almost already. And then we have Alliance, defending champions, of course, of EWC, coming through in that game number 2. Now we'll wait for the Timmy moment. You get the feeling it's going to come.
You think so? I mean, they've had a couple of opportunities, a couple of games as well, where they were in good positions, but just haven't really been able to close them out. But historically, they do usually find one, especially when we're looking at a 10-match series. There is a lot of time for them to find that one moment. If it was a 6-match series, this is where you start to get a little bit worried if you are an NRG fan. However, there is still plenty of time here.
Castle with the long boy, by the way, as well as the R99. Let's see the longbow. Then you Roger Abrams at me, Dan Gaskin. 100 Thieves now continue their way towards zone. A little bit further for them to go. Wrapping towards the energy bank, maybe looking for a little bit of scrap loot, maybe just realizing that a couple of teams were going to be busy on that side of the zone they were originally looking to rotate through. JD Gaming actually counter-rotating at the moment. Very interesting to see it. 100 Thieves might not be aware of this. They certainly are now as the shots will be exchanged.
Yeah, this is an isolated fight at the moment. EMP is going to pop. But I don't think it's going to influence it too much, because 100 Thieves have enough distance they can just re-shield before the fight actually occurs here.
Verholz had to use that castle wall, though, just to get away and back towards his teammates. And now you're seeing the push come in. And 100 Thieves are just trying to scarper away, but JDG now trying to chase them down. They've popped the ballistic ultimate into the Tempest. Verholz is down. And the aggression is paying off here for JD. The counter-rotate that was not expected. These 100 Thieves are just one alive.
They were very split. Well, 100 Thieves there. I don't know if it was a communication issue or they just weren't able to maybe take the same journey that Phony did to try and cut across, as Phony now has been able to escape, or at least he hopes he has. I think he's currently lurking. And JD are trying to find him, and they will find him. And sadly, 100 Thieves eliminated in 20th position.
Not dissimilar to what we saw yesterday with a very hot start from AG as things slowed down. JG, though, enjoying themselves. You can see Johnny R here on our screen. A little bit of a smile on his face, a little bit of a smirk. Why wouldn't you when you just take down 100 Thieves with pretty much no effort?
Yeah, into 5th place now, 22 points. Plenty to smile about at the moment, and if they can use this now as a little bit of momentum in this game, perhaps they can hurtle their way up the leaderboards even a little bit more to try and stay within a shout of getting to match point finals. Zone 1 about to close, and there is still a few teams within a distance of each other. Unlimit and Team Liquid being one of them, and Team Liquid looking for what looks like the remainder of Unlimit here.
Yeah, popping the Tempest as well to try and get that speed boost, to try and be in a position where they're going to be able to find damage very, very quickly and find angles almost as importantly to take down these remaining members of Unlimit who are just trying to escape at the moment. Team Liquid trying to find them, but not going to be able to quite now.
I think it's just one person as well. Shopify Rebellion were able to get damage on them initially. Elsewhere, Go Next taking a fight against FS by the looks of it. Shopify Rebellion also looking at S8UL on the western side. So Shopify Rebellion playing similarly how they did before, where they're just kind of hovering around edge and trying to kill these teams that are rotating after them.
S8UL disengaging from that at the moment. Shopify trying to push back and force them into the zone. You can see that on the left-hand side of your map overhead right now. S8UL just rotating away from Shopify, but Shopify almost shadowing them, just commanding so much space. It's like trying to break down a defense at the moment for S8UL. They do pull away, and they should be good enough to continue their rotators. It looks like Shopify might look for that ring console instead.
You can see on the north, Liquid have left the solo of Unlimit, and they've gone zone, and the solo will be able to go out towards Lotus, get that crafter, and hopefully get the team back up to its full composition, and then maybe see if Unlimit can do anything in this game. The zone is going to shift away from Lotus, though. It is going to go a little bit further south, pretty much direct center of the circle that we had seen previously, which is pretty much what everyone else had really committed to anyway when it looks like making their movements early on in this game.
Well, S8UL drop the evac in the bed of the truck and then take it to the skies. Long way for them to go towards zone. The team that's going to be closest to them upon landing is going to be ROC. Fusion just been eliminated, by the way. Quietly, SBI will be the ones who are credited with those kills as NRG now find themselves EMP'd. And we saw how that went for 100 Thieves a few moments ago.
Yeah, is this actually going to be a fight that breaks out? One that might break out, though, is ROC against S8UL. ROC are above them. They saw S8UL land, and they certainly are taking a peek towards it, but they're probably reluctant to make this push at the moment because they have that high ground. It's not really worth them trying to push themselves into a building that is going to be heavily fortified by Catalyst spikes right now.
Both teams are going to be safe as well in this next zone, so don't really have to engage. Two teams who are looking to engage, though, are on our screen, and Go Next are kind of forced to because Kinda has been taken care of as Effect picks up yet another kill for himself.
Edgewood
oh my god.
will come down
Effect just
so fast.
absolutely pissed on him.
Well, Adam does at least do enough damage just to force Effect away, but the real question is, where's the rest of the squad? Do you even need the rest of the squad when Effect is playing in this way? But it looks like maybe Go Next can survive and get back up if you can escape out of the back here.
I don't know if Effect got a little bit of help in that or if it was just the purest R9 shots that you've ever seen. But you can now understand what it feels like for players in this lobby when you have a 1v1 with Effect. It's very difficult to win, and win it they don't. Go Next will be eliminated.
Effect just 1v3'd them, essentially. He got all 3 of those kills. S8UL now are down to just 2, but Team Liquid also at 2 here, so this is a 2v2.
Neozul comes blasting through the door with the Rampage singing a tune here. Takes down Sharky. They're looking for the finish here, just trying to bash down this castle wall, and will be able to get the finish. But again, Liquid taking these fights, finding themselves having to get Yanya back into this game for not the first time so far in this series.
This could really benefit the likes of Unlimit, who are going to be nearby, as are Shopify Rebellion, both hearing this fight happening, probably considering maybe looking over towards it as well, but Team Liquid are going to get the respawn. That also could draw a lot of attention here to nearby teams.
One of those teams, Shopify Rebellion, look at them, sharks in the water, sniffing them out. Team Liquid will be able to get Jaguars back on his feet, and they still have a castle wall to kind of dally behind, so Yanya take a little bit of damage. S8UL will be eliminated in the meantime. The final player wasn't able to get away. And Jesko will be taken down, but Liquid having a hold here against an angry-looking Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, as expected, Shopify Rebellion heard all this happening and did step up, but Team Liquid are going to retreat probably quite wisely. They are going to retreat over towards Unlimit, though, and I think it's only a duo of Unlimit, so perhaps Team Liquid have retreated the correct way here. They might actually pick up some KP because of it.
Yeah, interesting as well. ROC, I think they sent a Wraith portal in to see if they could get in a position to potentially third party. Yanya gets put on his back, but at least the trade will come in here for the rest of Team Liquid. They get the finish. Yanya should be in a position to be res here, but it looks like with the amount of commotion that's going around with the fights that have taken place in the last few minutes, they're not willing to stick this res. They just want to try and get out and survive because they know they're Shopify close.
Yeah, Shopify, as soon as they saw that EMP and they heard that damage, they started to push. And I tell you what, that has evened things up a little bit here, and this is going to be very difficult for Shopify Rebellion to continue to push up, especially that nade's taking down Koiful.
Yeah, that's just disgusting from Neozul. Again, the Rampage this time. A lot of talk about the Devotion, but he's got the Rampage in the sling, and he is making that thing work. Shopify going to go for an immediate res here. Should be able to get it off as well, because Team Liquid have had to take the time to get back to 3 themselves. But Liquid now, they pop the Tempest. I think it might have just expired as this fight's about to break out.
What a position that was, though, from Zainu. Just taking the bold position, getting an angle, and getting a crack, which just gives them a chance here in this fight, because he's been able to escape whilst they were shielding. It's not a straight 3v3. There is still a member of Unlimited in this area that could add to this.
Good to see my favorite player cam in all of Apex Legends. MT always looks like he is literally in the game. Like, everything is so much more real to him than it is to anyone else, with the look on his face, with the grimace of determination every single time that you'd go to his player cam. But for now, both teams are back to 3 and have disengaged for now.
ROC and NRG were also having a look at each other from distance, but no real engagement happening, because I think NRG are happy within their building at the moment. Timmy's been able to find, and they will use the Dark Veil just to cover. Crazy Raccoon say, actually, maybe you're within our territory here.
Yeah, that mobile shield is big. They're going to have to get a really good castle wall down here. Unlimited have been eliminated. In the meantime, the final player, Zubi, has been taken down by Koiful, so Shopify Rebellion just keep their head on a swivel. As Alliance also have a little bit of a poke here in the kill feed. I think they took down a couple of members of Evo's, if I'm not mistaken. Shopify Rebellion still in this fight, by the way. Deeds is going to be able to pick up one, though.
Yeah, ROC were able to look over Shopify Rebellion as they were going away from Liquid. Liquid are now going to come back into this fight. It's been a tug of war between these two teams, but Shopify Rebellion are still alive here. However, ROC have got a position where they can watch over both of them.
Worry for all of these teams, though. Zone's going to start closing pretty soon, and they've got quite the way to go to Zone. Team Liquid are closest to it. Shopify Rebellion are furthest away. Out of anyone in the lobby at the moment, probably outside of NRG. NRG try and continue their rotation right now as ROC just keep holding these teams out.
Yeah, in the actual zone, there's a lot of teams that have found themselves a place to call home. Virtus.pro in a good spot, SBI also, Gaming Gladiators, teams that really do find those positions and hunker down. Now, Alliance, they took this position very early on. It's going to be safe for the next zone, but not the one thereafter. So they might just try and play a little bit further west when they do get that information.
It'll be good for now. 20 seconds until the zone closes, and you imagine at least 4 or 5 teams should go down in that time. 14 squads still remaining in the lobby. We've lost 6 up until this point. JDG goes drone hunting and is very successful in doing so.
You can also see what an important fight it was for JD Gaming to win early on against 100 Thieves to find themselves in this position still on the southeast, but they'll just have to walk in a little bit, but they'll be okay. And as you said, I think a lot of the commotion is going to happen on the western side.
Good one over there. Thanks.
Players now on purple shields alongside the gold here for Alliance, so the Evo level up is done for them. Outside of obviously finding themselves a little red helmet that might drop their way. Sangjun, one of those players who certainly does have that little bit of equipment. They're getting swung right now. You can see it might actually be a player trying to escape. It's Vaxelon who just swung past him. Other load will come in. Sangjun smartly backs up towards his teammates here to just make sure they're nice and tight as a team. Not allowing anyone to pick them off as everybody starts to arrive. Look at this rotate from ROC, by the way.
If these bats all pop off, they're all going to be pretty healthy.
Well, they're not safe. They're going to have to take this fight. Big damage coming in from Sorcerer, though, with this Havoc has given the opportunity at least to step forward, but for how long can they survive here?
Not very long at all, sadly, for ROC. All the bats did pop off, but there was just too many teams in that area, all looking in their direction as Crazy Raccoon will have to drop down. NRG also still find themselves in a safe position at the moment, but they are worried about the portals that are right in front of them.
Was it a kidnap or was it a mistake? Zach Mazur will go down. As NRG now have to make their way towards zone. Let's jump into the comms with NRG.
We're in right here. We're in right here underneath the stairs. That'll be really good when we turn back. We're gonna have Sam. You're gonna have Sam.
No, it's front somewhere.
Yep.
Portal up here.
You will have Sam. You will have Sam.
I'm at 50, yeah, I'm at 50.
All right, I'm 2-1. I have 1 cell, 2 bats.
Here.
I'm 3-2. I'm gonna try to play up.
Okay. I have wall, by the
How's
way.
that green box look to me? I saw it drawn.
They're gonna play right here. I mean,
I can catwall to under the stairs.
listen. I think this is good.
Okay, I know it's only 75 on the wall though. I need to shoot.
Just walk it in. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna catwall us when we walk in.
No. I think you should save it so we can fight this team right here.
I have to think this. I need to save you.
I think you should wait. Go. Try to hold it. This team's playing caustic too. Okay.
I'll try and hold it.
If you need, just throw a Q and walk it in. The Newcastle Q.
I don't want to though because I want to save my slam. I want to cure first and then save it for Nuke. crypto.
Wait, he just took portal away. What the fuck?
He took it up top. He took it up high.
Wait, is there no one in here? Do you guys hear anybody?
No. Yes, they're healing.
Okay.
They might take it up. They might
Almost first round, I hit a 32. He just lied to me, so it's lied to me. Just lied to me, just lied to me, just lied to me. They both got it. We're good, we're good, we're good.
Putting wall down, putting wall down.
Yeah, we're good.
Alright, I'm saving one.
We're not in.
Bad fuck, man. It's fine, it's fine. It's good.
It's good enough, it's good enough.
Are we in here?
Yeah, we
are, barely. I might have to catwall later, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, we're okay.
They're maybe fighting.
I can Q right here if I need it. Okay, I'll just Q.
Put him on me.
Yeah, he's gonna die.
I'm doing it. Yeah, no, Newcastle.
So NRG find a spot to play here, but is the Newcastle wall good enough? Is it deep enough in zone for them to use as cover, or are they going to have to extend and take the fight to Twisted Minds? Crazy Raccoon got in the meantime. We saw Liquid lost as well. VKG also went, but it's NRG who clean Twisted Minds and will create so much space.
Good aggression there from Timmy and NRG just to make sure that they do take that space, because yes, I think you're right. The wall was a little bit iffy. If they allow that team to live, they might have just been able to be picked off. JD Gaming will be eliminated in 7th, as Effect does take a lot of damage here, but of course, Unlucky's always there with his back.
Lucky now needs Hackers to have his back as well, because 2 players from Alliance have to pop batteries, have to pop medkits, have to get healthy. Now Hackers uses his opportunity to pop into the drone. I wonder if he's going to look to end EMP NRG. That is difficult to say, Dan.
All the meanwhile, Alliance have picked up 15 kills, by the way. Whilst we were amidst that NRG listening, Alliance have been absolutely going off. They're up to 58 points. 3 kills have been found by Unlucky, 1 by Hackers, so you can do the math. 11 for Effect.
That is disgusting. That is absolutely vile. It is almost crossing the bounds of legality, what we are seeing from Effect so far. BP, though, in a fight themselves. Slayer sees his IGL go down and now sees his 2 teammates go down alongside him. It's going to be Burst Pro eliminated. GG will win that fight, but with the zone closing in, do they leave their teammate? Do they have the space and the time to get this res?
Gonna go for a portal, it looks like.
Back to NRG and Alliance, who have just been exchanging fire for the last few moments. Both teams are safe. It's SBI and GG. They're going to have to move first here. That Q really good. The wall wasn't great. You saw the Q this time coming in from sight. Superb. Shopify Rebellion do not make it to top 4.
Well, we said, is there going to be a moment for NRG? Could this be their game? They're into the final circle, only 3 other teams to worry about. GG and SBI are going to have to take a fight on the eastern side, which means NRG, their main concern is going to be Alliance above them, but they might be able to avoid this fight and look over towards the east.
NRG looking for Skynades here. If they can hit a big banger here, that would be massive. Guild gets a knock on the GG though. Funk will go down thanks to that devotion. Effect takes some damage. 11 kills to his name to repeat once again. And it's another not being finished this time by Alliance. NRG trying to hold strong here as SBI and GG will go down. It's NRG versus Alliance to see who comes out on top here. Hackers, he'll swing down from the high ground. Effect will pick up another. Effect will pick up, if I'm not mistaken, all 3 once again. Effect is on fire!
It's a 22-kill game for Alliance, a 34-point game as they look to assert their dominance here in Group B. I mean, I'm going to say, I think they've already done enough to get to match point finals just off these first 4 matches alone, especially if you look at the points that it took to get into match point finals from Group A. But boy, have they been impressive so far.
We're going to have to see the final tally of kills, but as you saw, Solo, Slayer, all 3 players from NRG fall at the hands of that man on your screen. I say hands, maybe I should say thumbs.
And I know the desk was joking about Apex Fantasy and people who had picked Effect, but they are definitely rubbing their hands together. And so is he, because what a moment it must be. It just gives you so much confidence to go into the rest of these games and just takes any pressure off as well. 34 points.
Kills.
That's insane. And if you look at the position they found themselves in right at the start of the game, remember, they moved early. Sometimes when you move that early, it doesn't result in kills because the zone comes to you, you kind of hunker down. They were always looking to spread themselves out. They were always looking to take damage and give out damage where possible so they could find those kills. But then during the listening with NRG, I was watching them on the minimap and they were just bullying their way through, bullying their way through, bullying their way through. And in the end, they result in a mammoth game.
Well, if you want a stat, match number 4, 14 kills, tied for the